Hi, welcome to this shoulder and upper back yin practice. For today's practice, you will likely want some blocks or something block-like at home. If you don't have blocks, rolled up towels can work, or books can be blocks, as well as a bolster. An alternate for a bolster would be pillows off the bed, throw pillows, or a rolled up blanket. So we are going to begin our practice today in a supported fish position. So taking one block or block-like prop under the back and potentially a second one under the head. So remembering in our yin practice that we are in these poses for extended duration and we wanted the body to feel really supported. We'll start to lay back over the first block and kind of find that sweet spot where we want it to be. And then the head can rest either down to right to the floor, if that feels okay for the neck, or placing the block or even something a little smaller, maybe just a folded blanket under the head. The feet can be drawn up under the knees for a little extra support through the low back, or we can extend the legs long here. And let's just check in to see that the shoulders aren't hiking up towards the ears as we gently draw them down and back so we can get that nice opening through the chest, through the collarbones. And then the hands can rest really wherever feels comfortable for you. Might be to the belly, alongside the body, or I often like to stretch out wide into a T position here. And let's just let our bodies get heavy into our mat and into our props. Giving ourselves a permission to release the tension that we do not need to hold in this shape. Trusting that the props and the mat and the floor are going to support the body. If we start to relax in a little bit further, a little bit deeper. Gently beginning to connect in with the breath. Moving through our three-part breath, or our belly breath. On the inhale, let's draw the air all the way down to the depths of the lungs, feeling that expansion of the belly. And as we exhale, releasing the breath slowly but completely as we feel the belly fall, the chest fall. If you feel a lot of heat or tension within the body, mind, or heart, maybe using a cleansing exhale just to help us move some of that energy. So inhale through the nose and then just a long, slow sigh out through the mouth. Let's see if we can allow ourselves to arrive in even a little further, a little deeper. This shoulder, upper back practice can be really beneficial if you're feeling closed off energetically through the heart space. It's also a really great practice if you are just feeling a lot of physical tension in this part of your body. It can often be when we're moving through periods of uncertainty or stress, or also physically if we are sitting at a computer all day, or maybe doing lots of lifting, whether it be babies and children or with our work. Not saying that babies and children aren't work. I was a stay-at-home mom for years, and I know that's the hardest quote-unquote job I've ever done. Slowly releasing down a little further, and just begin to notice If we've maybe opened up a little more space, you might want to shift the prop from under the head, either out of the way or just move down to something a little lower. We're just going to be here for about 5 more breaths. To come out of this shape, if the legs are extended long, let's begin to slide the heels back up the mat space, rooting down through the soles of the feet. And then we'll slowly and gently just begin to roll ourselves off to one side, just far enough that we can slide that prop out of the way. We're gonna come right back onto our backs. Drawing the shoulders down and back, kind of tucking those shoulder blades in behind us. Let the shoulders roll open and just take a couple breaths here. Just noticing the space that we've created. And remembering that sometimes when we come out of our yin postures, there can be kind of a weird, almost a lingering sensation. Shouldn't be discomfort, but can sometimes feel a bit like unease, maybe is a good descriptor. And just know that this is really common, and unless it's pain, it's probably nothing to be concerned about. But it's usually just because we've shifted the body a little bit. We're working with the deeper tissues. And the body just needs a chance to kind of acknowledge what's happening. And so we're going to roll over onto our side and come up through a seated position. Just moving through another really gentle heart opener here. You may want to have the blocks or your bolster handy just to lift the floor up a little bit behind you. So we're just going to find a really comfortable seat. If you want to tuck something under the sits bones, you definitely can. Inhale, we're going to lengthen up nice and tall, and then just reaching the fingertips back behind us. So either to those props or right down to the mat space, whatever feels good. So we're really thinking about lifting kind of the belly forward and the lower part of the chest, upper chest, heart. And if it feels okay in the neck, gently lifting the chin, finding space through the front of the throat. So even though we're tented to the fingers behind us, we want to keep the shoulders down and back as best we can. So we feel this opening through the front of the body. And we're just going to be here for about 10 breaths. Let's really think about moving our breath through the front of the open body here. This can also be a really great practice to reach for if you've been feeling tired and sort of low energy. As we open up through the front of the body, we can just allow our energy to flow more freely. Just kind of loosen up that maybe feeling of being kind of stuck or stagnant. And just a couple more breaths here. Good, and slowly beginning by tucking the tailbone, let's start to draw ourselves back upright. Nice and slow, we can release the hands to the lap, maybe roll through the wrists, the fingers, and again, just take a slight pause here. Noticing maybe what shifted, notice how you're feeling right now. And let's begin to invite ourselves over towards a 4-point kneeling position. Just keeping those props handy in case we would like them. So find our tabletop position, shoulders right over elbows over wrists, and just start to move through a couple rounds of cat-cow here. So inhale as we drop the belly, lengthen through the front of the body. Exhale, we're gonna round that tailbone under, rounding through one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, opening front body. Exhale, opening back body. And back through this tabletop position, we're gonna move into our puppy dog pose. So you may choose to have your bolster pillow type prop handy here for a more restorative variation. So we walk the hands out in front of us. We can either root down to the forearms and then think about dropping the forehead down to the bolster. If you really want supported, you can pull this right underneath of you. If you want to go in a little deeper, your body has this space. You can walk the hands right out in front, dropping forehead down to the mat or to a block or to that folded blanket. Also optional to head into a little bit deeper expression where we're going to drop the heart and chin to the mat space. So in our puppy dog pose, our hips stay nice and high above the knees. And we're thinking about dropping the chest, the heart down towards the mat space, opening up through the upper back, the fronts of the shoulders. You want to avoid any pinching sensation in the neck in this shape. So if that's something that's occurring for you, make sure you shift positions so that you feel supported. And connect in with that breathing. Remembering we can come back to that breath anytime that we're feeling distracted in our practice. Whether that's external distractions outside of us or those internal distractions of the mind and body and heart. So we can let all that kind of run in the background, but not feel pulled away by it. As we stay present in our practice and on our mats. Let's slowly begin to walk those hands back in underneath of the shoulders. Finding that tabletop position once again and just moving through a couple cat-cow here. Go ahead. So prepare to get it a little deeper into those shoulders here. So again, just have those props nice and handy. As we walk the knees a little wider, we're gonna sit back, bringing our hips to our heels, and then melting ourselves down to a child's pose. So we want the neck to feel supported here in child's pose. We can always use a prop to lift the floor up under the forehead. And then from here, we're going to move into a little twist for the upper body. So pressing into the palm of the left hand, we're going to weave the right arm under the left, drawing the right shoulder and temple down to the mat space or to a prop. So we should feel nice and supported here. You can also use your bolster here to give you a little bit more lift. And again, just a little bit more restorative variation, a little bit more support. So choose what feels best for your body. So you want your body to feel safe enough that you can really drop into this shape. You can choose to leave that left arm extended long, which really brings nice length into that left side body as well as with the twist. If we are wanting a little bit deeper twist, we can bring the left hand in nice and close and thinking about opening the left shoulder up towards the ceiling or to the side of the room as we press into that left hand. Maybe get us a little bit deeper into that twist there. Again, remembering in our yin shapes, it's never really about forcing the postures, but rather just moving to that place where we begin to feel the sensation and then being okay with staying there. My yin practice has taught me so much about patience, reminded me that there most often is not a finish line in life, and there certainly isn't on our yoga mats. It's actually about just pausing to really notice and accept where we are and being okay with that, without always being worried about where we're going next or if we can force ourselves deeper. And we'll slowly prepare to come out of this first side. So if that left arm's in closer, let's extend it long. And then unraveling that right hand, let's just arrive back in our child's for a couple breaths. Without judging the body in any way, just shifting awareness to that right shoulder and the upper part of the back on the right side, and just notice what's happening there. And then take a moment to witness and notice what's happening on the left side. And let's head into the second side here. So press into the right hand. We're going to weave that left arm under, choosing that supported variation. So again, it's really important that the neck feels supported here and that the body feels safe. So if the body is not feeling supported, it won't actually feel safe enough to relax in this shape. And as we can relax into the shape is where we can actually get deeper. So right back to what I was saying about forcing the shapes, how so often in our culture it's about hard and fast and hustle and working to get there, but our yin practice is actually hustling makes it a little counterproductive, because the more you force, the harder it is to actually find that space. So the magic actually lies in the surrender and in the trust and in the patience. So that option again to draw that right hand in a little closer if we would want to drop a little deeper into the rotation. Breathing here. Good, one more breath. If that right hand's in close, let's extend it out long as we unravel back into that child's pose. 2 breaths. Good, walking those hands in. Let's Bring the knees back into hip width apart, and then let's just place that block off to the side. Again, nice and handy in case we want it. And we're gonna come right down to our bellies. And we're gonna start, shift the props out of the way here so they're handy. We're gonna stretch the right arm out away from us, palm facing down. So maybe you can't see that side, but I'm just gonna be in this position with the palm facing down. So see if we can rest the head to the mat. Again, we want the neck to feel supported. So just using a block or that towel, blanket, whatever you have handy under the head. And then we're gonna slowly begin to roll on to the right side. And the top leg can rest on top, left leg on top of right. We can bend the knee up in front of us, or we can step it back behind us. So we want to be really mindful in this shape because we're putting our shoulder in a pretty vulnerable position. So definitely not forcing anything here. Just sort of moving till you begin to feel that gentle pull in the front of the right shoulder. And then give yourself permission to just sit with that gentle pull. Breathing here. With our exhale, thinking about allowing that shoulder to sink down a little bit deeper into the mat. So we feel the tension through the upper back just melting away with the exhales. Allowing that right arm to be as relaxed as possible. So if you're gripping the floor, really contracting through that right arm, maybe just try easing out of the rotation just a little bit and see if you can find some relaxation in that right arm. Same thing goes if that right arm's starting to feel numb or tingly in any way, then just know that that's too much for your body, and listen to your body and just gently draw yourself either right out of the shape or just even coming out a little ways and see if that makes a difference. And gently beginning to unravel, coming to our bellies, just drawing the hands in to make a little pillow, and then resting the forehead to the back of the hands and just beginning to notice what's happening in the shoulders and the upper back. And then let's arrive in our second side. So the left arm out away from us, right hand under our shoulder. Let's make sure the neck feels supported as we roll ourselves open to that left side. Again, that right leg can be bent in front of the left, stacked on top, or just gently stepping back behind. And breathe. Two more breaths here. And just gently unraveling. Let's once again bring the elbows wide, stack the palms, rest the forehead. Beginning to bring the hands under the palms. Let's press ourselves up to seated. And this is where I'm going to leave you here for today's practice. I do encourage you to take a few moments of stillness, whether it be Shavasana lying on your back, or if you choose just a few moments in seated. Just letting your body absorb the benefits of the practice here today, letting your mind, your heart, your soul just integrate everything we've moved through. I thank you so much for joining me here today in this practice, and I look forward to practicing with you again very soon. Namaste.